So this Trump 2.0 we've been talking about, especially with the likes of Elon Musk involved, is certainly looking to do things differently. It means the United States Department of Education could very well be targeted, possibly for elimination. President-elect's talked about that. Arne Duncan served as the Secretary of Education under President Obama. Joins us now. So, Secretary Duncan, welcome. We've had a couple of conversations this week, trying to get past like the one lines on, get rid of it type of stuff. That's been out there since the 70s when they brought in the department. And you ran it for a long time under Obama to make the case to someone about why we still need a federal Department of Education when they say, all right, we can do this in different ways. What's the case?
A couple things. First of all, I'll always say that education should be the ultimate bipartisan or nonpartisan issue. I hate that, again, just always trying to be honest, that you see Republicans constantly trying to use this and politicize education, the culture wars. But there is nothing left or right or conservative or liberal about more kids having access to high quality pre-K, raising our high school graduation rates, making sure more young people are prepared and can go on to higher education, whether that's a four-year university, two-year community college, trade, technical, vocational training. I will also say, and for me, this is so critically important, that our military is our nation's best defense, absolutely. Our nation's best offense is a world-class education system. And we would never delegate the Marines to 50 different states to do their own thing, or the Army or the Navy, whatever it might be, the Air Force. It's in our nation's interest to have a great military system to protect us. And it's our nation's interest to have a world-class education system to educate us, to make sure high-wage, high-skilled jobs stay in our communities, in our states, in our country. And the Department of Education has a really important role in doing that.
What would we actually lose in the process? Say if they said, well, we need to still fund certain programs that are very, very important, but this other department is going to handle that and it's still going to get allocated in a similar way that it does now, but we don't have the Federal Department of Education. Do you look at things, I mean, when you were Secretary, you used to talk a lot about national standards and how we get people up to those standards. I know a lot's been said about the fact that we're not where we need to be there, but would that go away? What would we actually lose practically?
Well, first, again, I just want to be honest. The Department of Education is not going away. So this will go right up there with, he's going to build a wall and get Mexico to pay for it. So I'm happy to come back on the show if I'm wrong, but that's simply not going to happen. But I'll just give you one very concrete example. There are over 7.5 million children across the country who have disabilities, who have challenges, who need special education services. And last time I checked, those children weren't just the children of Republicans or the children of Democrats. Those are all of our children who have those challenges. The Department of Education does an extraordinary job of making sure that those children have access to public education. That did not used to be the case. It took a national role, a federal, to make sure that happens and funds that very, very specifically. So whether it's continuing to help those children who have special needs to get the resources and the education they deserve, whether again it's access to high quality pre-K, whether it's billions and billions of dollars for Pell Grants to make college more accessible and affordable, and loans as well in college. And also there's an enforcement role that's really important with the Office of Civil Rights. And I hate that this is true, but this literally just happened yesterday. You can check. There's a school district in Oklahoma where very tragically a teacher was grooming female students on social media for sexual favors. The school district knew about that and did nothing. And so who had to step in? The U.S. Department of Education, specifically the Office of Civil Rights, had to step in to try and help that child who's been traumatized by the school district that did nothing to protect her. That's the kind of thing that the U.S. Department of Education uniquely has to step into that space. I hate that that's the case, but unfortunately, that's reality.
That's an extreme example. The other places where we've seen that type of discussion take place is part of kind of the culture wars of this country about what types of books, what types of history is going to be taught. The states, though, have a decent amount of leeway on some of that stuff right now. Isn't that fair? I mean, how much did the department get involved when you were there?
Yeah, that's very fair. And it's interesting. When you sort of look on the Republican side, so much of the time, the bellwether is Florida, and things come out of Florida.
Yeah. And
so a couple of things have happened in Florida. Florida, by far, leads the nation in book banning. They've banned a couple thousand books. They've put into their curriculum that slavery had benefits for Black people, which is sort of mind-boggling to me. And they've politicized the school boards with the Moms for Liberty folks trying to run for school boards. And they have been resoundingly defeated, the vast majority of cases, in very red communities. And so that kind of, again, politicization of education, that's not what parents want. Parents want their children to be taking care of their mental health, They don't want bullying in schools. They want less school shootings. They want our schools to be safer. And trying to, again, politicize education, eliminate the Department of Education. None of those things help meet parents where they are. And you can, tell parents different things about other issues, but if you start lying to parents, if you start taking away their children's rights, that's gonna be in big trouble. It's bad for education. It's bad for kids. Honestly, it's bad for the Republican Party.
Thanks so much for watching. Just go to joinnn.com to find News Nation on your television provider. And don't forget to click the red subscribe button below to get more of News Nation's fact-driven, unbiased coverage.